And we're talking about the economy again for obvious reasons. It's so one of the biggest things in our lives, really. There is inflation, and then there is the Ghanaian magician. I mean, because you see, in the midst of 30-something% inflation, there are even people who say our inflation is 60%. That's this guy in the US.
Oh, it says now it's 81%.
Yeah, it says Professor Stephen Hank.
Stephen Hank says it's now 81% rate of inflation. 2.5% more than what you've been told.
2.5%.
About 2.5
times more.
2.5
times more.
Okay.
So multiply that by 2.5.
Okay.
And then.
But the thing about it, in the midst of all this gloom and doom, the Ghanaians seem to be surviving. And I don't know how. They've always said the Ghana is a magician, with inflation eating away. Even the cola was 15%, right? Inflation is currently, 33.9%, which means that cola, in fact, is negative. What?
That's true.
Oh,
15.
well, I mean, on the face of it, you can do that. But if you put a value to it, try to look at the value and look at the increase in other things you do, what we do that we probably may come up to a realization that, the cola may have cushioned you a little bit, but the cola, based on happenings, the cola may just not be enough to take care of all your needs.
Yeah, but I guess my point is that in the midst of all that, somehow, Ghanaians are... the heat and the pressure that came before the cola was massive.
Yeah.
After the 15%, they were asking for 20 because they were pegging it to inflation at the time.
Yeah.
Of course, inflation had moved way. They didn't even get that inflation rate of 20%. Yeah. They got 15. And you have a period now that it's even worse now than it was 3-4 months ago.
Because some cushioning is better than no cushioning at all. You think about it that way. If you are getting, let's say, you are being paid 500 cedi and you are getting a little bit of 100 cedi more, it means that if you are spending 300 cedi on transportation, you are spending 200 cedi on transportation, just on the amount without any other changes that you are going to consider. Merely because you got money more and you know what's happening in the economy, you think that any labor union can legitimately come and ask government for more. You ask yourself that question. It won't make sense. I mean, you are suffering, but everybody is suffering. What's the point? It's not as if the money is there for you in the first place.
The government suffering. The government suffering.
When you say the government, you mean
it doesn't.
The
economy.
How would the suffering would be if they were thinking about us? But how do they suffer? How would they suffer when you and I, when you and me, and you and I have decided to make life comfortable for them?
That's true.
We insulate them from the problems that we go through. Yeah. And so they don't understand the challenges we are going through. Yeah. That's the reality. Because that person you expect...
They're not connected to the real cost.
He's not connected to the reality. He's not connected to the problems on the ground. His food is purchased for him by the states.
Yeah.
He has drinks paid
even the
cook
who's cooking the food.
The chef cooking the food is paid by the state. Yeah. So where lies
the security man
feel of it?
Driver.
You see, it is the reason I have said that this colonial mentality of buying food and everything for persons in authority, we have to stop it. We said that we're going to do that because one of the things it does is that it will not lead them into robbing us or
stealing from us. We know the evidence suggests it doesn't happen.
Suggests otherwise. So that person doesn't really feel the pain.
Or it's been reducing it so that if we remove those incentives, then it will be kojo, they will steal everything.
Raymond and Evans, let us ask ourselves a very simple question. Today, fuel prices, yes, have reduced from 11.55 for I think it's 10.95. So there's a bit of a reduction, about 4% reduction. That has not stopped people from agitating that transport fares must go up.
Yeah, but they're actually negotiating now with government, right?
Good. Now, today, we're talking about an inflation rate of 33.9%. Electricity pushed it, rate of inflation was 47%.
Yeah.
Guess what? We are now going to feel the increase in electricity and water because it took effect on the 1st of September.
That's
We're
true.
dealing
End
with
of the month.
an August inflation. So we are complaining.
So the electricity that's high, that's contributing to inflation, is pre-increment electricity.
It will be higher.
So the 30% that was added to it, it's not going to reflect in your actual inflation.
When you are faced with these kinds of challenges, the thing you do is not to tell the citizenry to tighten their belts.
What else?
What you do is for you, those in authority, to start by tightening their belts. So for those in authority, when they said we are going to cut fuel by 20%, we are going to cut this thing, let us see it. In fact, because we're paying them, and they live in government bungalows close to their offices, okay, the fuel, what would they use it for?
Do they really live in their bungalows?
Who's occupying the bungalows?
If you don't
because it's for ministers and deputy ministers.
No problem. So if I give the minister fuel, what does he use it for?
But then he has to move from his house.
They will fill it for you. The state will fuel the vehicle, go to work. Why? Why is it that at every instance we want to make life unbearable for the Ghanaian? Why? Okay, so the state will give you because the state says they want you to fill it. Why must the minister drive 5.7 vehicle to work?
From cantonments to the ministries.
Why?
You think about it, or from rich to ministries.
But I also know that they give them to, there's a saloon,
yes.
Toyota.
How many of them do you see in the saloon?
How many of them use a saloon vehicle?
When they come here, do you see the saloon?
The deputy minister called me the last time.
And when they are sitting on news file, the entirety of the 3 hours, the engine is running.
The deputy minister
A human being is occupying the car, a driver. Sometimes even outside the car.
Needs AC.
Sit outside. Why? Human beings are sitting outside.
Outside. Look, a deputy minister called me the last time and told me that people are talking. How much fuel am I giving? Every week, 700 Ghana cedis fuel. So why people there talking as if I'm giving plenty fuel? We're giving you fuel to go to work.
But every week, 700 Ghana cedis. It's a lot of money. Times what? Times
4.
2,800.
That's some people's salary in this country.
You see? That's what that's the beginning of the problem. So because you are being paid, since you are being paid salaries, the first thing we should have done was to begin from there.
Yeah.
Today we're dealing with inflation. We're complaining.
And just you are being paid the ordinary man's salary. If you are paying deputy ministers according to their CVs, according to your ranks in public service, you pick out the person. Don't pick out the position. Pick out the person and put the person in the public service. Ask how much the person would have been paid ordinarily, according to the certification that the person has.
Yeah.
If that's what we're using, most of them, they'll get 1/10 of the amount of money they're actually taking today. So,
any 2,000,
yes.
But then they're earning 30-something.
Yes, but you think about it that way. So after the 30,000, we give you a car, we give you cook, we give you a driver, we give you night security, day security, and all of the other largesse that comes with the state. And the worst part is that they don't deliver crowd to on top of it.
Look, what we are faced with today is a clear example of failing leadership, a failed leadership and a failed economic management of this country. We're quick to talk about how the problems of the world is what has caused what we're going through. But what we refuse to talk about is that while we are talking about the UK having a 14-year high interest rate, it is 2.25%.
You think about it.
Yeah.
It is 2.25%.
But that is a sort of, is even lower than what the banks give to their staff.
Yeah.
You see,
you think about it.
The bank gives to their staff, 3%.
That's why people get angry.
Yeah.
Why some of this company? Oh yeah, and we use the figures that suit us.
Exactly.
So what does 14-year high mean?
Exactly.
2%. We in the Republic of Ghana, 33%. If you take the 30 out, even the 3% that we have is more than what they are on.
So you see, today, I mean, we're having a conversation the last time. We're talking about all of these. I mean, people can disagree and all of that. They've talked about how the policy rate is good and all of that to curb inflation. I have said, when you tell me about for that, it would have gone up fine. Now begin to show me the figures that it would have, gone up too. Don't just say that, but for that it would have gone up. Show me the figures that. But because I'm also telling you that, look, if you do this, and I am in the private sector, I don't have to go and borrow. If I have to go and borrow at a higher cost, and if I made a mistake and didn't go for a static, interest rate, and the banks increase my rate. Somebody called into the SMS yesterday, or I think Tuesday, and said that his loan repayment amount has increased by 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
1,000 Ghana cedis.
I know someone who's just saying 500 too. So the person was paying 2,000, I paid 2,500.
Wow.
So 1/4 has been added to
The
it.
chances are your salary hasn't changed.
Oh yeah, what's saying charges? Now the company is suffering. How do you get salary change?
You see, if I am providing service, and I keep telling people that one of the things we do not understand is that if I am into the provision of service and I have a loan to service and the loan is going up, I'm going for a loan and the loan is going up. How do I pay back my loan? I'll pay back my loan through the same work that I do. I would increase it. There's nothing I can do but to increase it. If I don't increase, if I am selling food, if I don't increase, I'll reduce the quantity.
And the ripple effect of that is you increase your prices.
Yes.
And the customer can't afford it.
Yes.
Because the customer is also hit by the same economic circumstances. So the customer can't afford, the business guy is not making enough sales, the businessman owes that he also want to pay is not possibly going to get what he, and then the ripple effect is why the economy is well.
Let me tell you the Dominic both kinky analysis that you'll be interested in. So they realized they've increased the kinky, the ball to 3 cedi, but they realized they need to move it up, and they realized it was going to cause some commotion. They created 2 different products, 3 cedi and 4 cedi by Mensah. Unless for 2-year-olds, the 3 cedi you and I can't consume. So you are effectively going to buy the kinky, the ball at 4 cedi, but they'll tell you it's a bigger one. What they're basically telling you is that that's the actual price you buy, because after the 3 cedi, instead you're buying 2 of them, which will be 6 cedi, which will be more than the 4 cedi, which may be even excess of it anyway. But that is how the woman is managing so that she can also survive and take care of her children. Effectively, nobody, how on earth, unless you go to some of these high-end restaurants, should be buying kinky at 4 cedi.
No, you made a point about leadership, and the thing that shocks me, where we are right now, we still haven't seen any proper executive action that shows that this is not business as usual anymore.
We are in it together.
Right? This is not business as usual. We're still running like this is still business as usual, nothing has changed. The very bare minimum.
Convoy size have not decreased.
I mean, even that is, this government is still 100+ ministers.
That's true.
Is it?
Yeah.
86 ministers. That number at least should be halved by now.
Exactly. And if you want to believe that
at least should be halved by now, we should be in the 40s.
Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, it's only the only relevant ministers are those in cabinet.
And to be fair to James Abonzo, he himself said it recently.
Yeah.
No, he said it.
The only relevant ministers are those in cabinet. And that's 90
value.
Yeah.
See, no, hold on a second.
He himself said it.
Hold on a second. The regional ministers.
What are they doing?
What do they do?
When we have DCs,
the DCs. Oh, they're supposed to report to the regional ministers and also report to the local government ministers.
No, they go straight to the presidency.
Thank you. No, but when you created a regional coordinating council, the regional coordinating council was supposed, in the scheme of things, planning, responsible for the district coordinating councils.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the point is that yes, at the coordinating level, they will do a few things. You have regional planning officers and all of that who would coordinate all of that. The regional ministers, to be very honest, what do they do? What do they do that we cannot?
Why
say
do we have
don't
need of them?
so when you knock them off, you have 16 off already.
So you have 70 left.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself the question, a lot of these ministers, what do they do? Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, doing what? When is the Minister of Food and Agriculture?
Yeah.
Is it not
when they're under agriculture, there's already a fisheries component under, is it planting for food and jobs, which deals with all of these other things.
They go and take the key and
unlock the sea.
When you have a minister,
which can be done by a public servant in that particular
ministry.
ministry.
We have a minister in charge of sanitation and water resources. First of all, we used to have a Ministry of Works and Housing, Minister of Water Resources, Works and Housing. The Ministry of Sanitation. Can the local government ministry do that?
They can.
Because sanitation contracts are supposed to be done at the local level.
Do you need...
Who is superintending over that?
Do you need that ministry?
It's a tragedy. I mean, each time anywhere in the world where you have serious governments, and when the economy is facing this sort of crisis, you actually see visible signs that the country is actually taking steps. And look, our own example. Let's go back to 2000 and 2001.
Before you go back,
when Kufuor.
The example I want to cite is the British High Commissioner told everybody in this country that when the UK realized that they needed to cut back, they cut tea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He said, no, don't take back. We raise savings from it.
Yeah.
What visible things are we cutting in this country to show people that this amount of money we are raised from
Even if it is 1 million cedis, cut it.
Yeah.
And if they held a press conference and they said, oh, we're cutting 30% of government expenditure. Where is the cut?
I told you.
If our secretary says that it is money you will not get.
No. Raymond, you're the one I spoke to, John. When I asked him that, are you going to cut down on the interest payment? He said no. Are you going to cut down the statutory payment? He said no. So I asked him.
Your debt is almost 80%.
So where are you going to cut?
So 80 in the first place.
You've actually increased wages and salaries. So where are you going to cut? Is it a 17 billion,
capital
expenditure? Is it a 9 billion?
By what they say is true, then we shouldn't.
No, but that's the truth.
Because
The truth is that
they can't cut anything more.
So we can't make promises.
Few figures are true.
To create a person, so why are you cutting?
But it was a discretionary expenditure that they were cutting.
25 billion.
Yeah, 25 billion are cutting by 30%. How much is the 25 billion in the first place? How is that even affecting the system in the first place? So I hope you're getting my point.
Yeah.
The point he's also making makes sense too much. Let's not use chicanery. Let's not use management, communication to deal with the problem.
Went to Parliament. he told you that now he's looking at a total expenditure of 135 billion. That's actually a reduction from the 137 billion that he went to Parliament with initially. And also told you that your interest payment has increased from 37 billion to 40 billion.
Yeah. No, but here's the thing. I like the low-hanging fruits, right? One of them, and we need to go back to John Mahama to learn this lesson. When John Mahama was in crisis, right? Of course, he was bashed. He deserved it at the time. But he did something. When they did their salary cuts, to show to the public, and that is the thing about form and substance that must go together.
That's true.
The substance is like cut. But if you don't show me that the
why you use
the card for our
money, what you use it for?
Without you. So what they did was to then take the money. Each time they came to accountants, we raised this amount of money and we are spending it in chip compound.
That's true.
And they actually built chip compound that you can go and verify, right? And
at least they showed buildings that were supposed to be
they invested the money in. The point that the point that all of you are raising is, if you say you've actually cut 30% of discretionary expenditure, how much have you saved so far? And what did you use that money for? Did you rechannel that money into servicing debt? Did you channel that money into paying the COLA?
If we cut down, if we cut it on 30%, let's say we even cut down 30% of discretionary expenditure. That is, and I want to give you, a conservative figure of 25 billion. Because if I had goods and services, some of which may not be discretionary anyway, but if I put all of them together because it will be termed as discretionary, let me take you to 25 billion, thereabout. Half of it, 30% of it is a third of it. A third of it gives you, divided by 3, that is 8 billion. If you went to Parliament and told all of us that one of the things you have done is to bring an expenditure for the year to 135 billion instead of 137 billion, what did you do?
It's almost negligible.
What did you do? Did you cut down? So you cut down the expenditure to invest in which other sectors? You were cutting it down because you realized that you were borrowing too much. And so if you were borrowing too much, you were cutting it down so that your interest payments will actually do what? Go down. Unfortunately, because of your high rate of inflation, you've had to increase, treasury bill rates and bond rates so that people can go for your bonds.
Yeah, but I need to say something. Look, I think we need to applaud the ordinary Ghanaian. Bearing the full brunt of this. And surviving, but most importantly, not agitating.
Yeah. No explosion.
The agitation we've seen in our communities is people talking to you and they say, they will call you and ask for money, etc. But we are not seeing a Sri Lanka.
That's true.
We are not seeing protests on the street. In fact, when there have been protests on the street recently, you will see that the number that you were expecting in the kind of climate we're in, it's not the sort of, you expect the whole Accra to grind to a halt if somebody calls for a protest now. But I don't see that.
Because people really, truthfully, deep within their hearts do not think that happens.
But that's what I'm saying. We need to really applaud the ordinary Ghanaian.
So let me just share this with you. While we're talking, Kwame Sapoasidu, all of us do know him, who's watching, says, on the same day the interest rate was increased by the Bank of England, the Chancellor reversed the national insurance increase of 1.25%.
Quick response.
So technically, the citizen is better off by 0.75%. Systems.
Quick response.
They think.
It reacts immediately.
Think about people. They think about
the concerns of people are taken into consideration.
They think about the people. What are we doing here?
Ask yourself again, what we are doing here, let me tell you what, after Statistical Service giving us the details of the inflation, they said something that's very interesting. They told us that bus and trotro fares went up by 43%, cooked rice basically went up by 29%, payment for rent, the main contributors what they are giving you. Then they say there are additional pointers for household decision making. The inflation rates recorded each month have different impacts on items. Top 15 items with the highest upward change in year to year, given household taste, disposal income and availability of alternatives, the basket of items can be varied in response to soaring prices. You know what they're basically saying? They are telling you the things that are at the highest price that you should stop buying or buying other things. That's basically what they're telling you. Grapes, it went up by 178%. Grape.
Yeah, it's only the rich people.
Grape. Yeah. 2, diesel, 116%. sunflower cooking oil 103%, granite oil 90%.
So buy a jungo.
Yes, they're trying to look for alternative to this, but why are we going to get this?
But I like this one, that jungo. I mean, I like the fact that they say sunflower oil is
yes.
We'll look for another thing.
Granite oil is 90%. Yes, petrol 80%, wheat flour 80%, washing soap 79%, granules 76%, avocado pear 76%, vegetable oil 76%, coconut oil 75%, millet next one 74%, palm oil too 70%,
Even the coconut oil.
gas 68%, charcoal 66%.
Oh, how?
So where do we go from here?
Wait. Do the last two again. Charcoal and gas.
Yes.
They're almost the same.
Yes, gas 68%, charcoal 66%.
Guys, start going.
difference.
But this is serious.
No, but think about it.
So it means there's nowhere.
There's nowhere to go.
What they are telling you was that these are the highest contributors, so find alternatives to them. Where are we going to get alternatives to petrol? What do you call it?
Your alternative is charcoal. Put the charcoal in.
But charcoal is 66%.
Your alternative to petrol and diesel is electric car. Do you have something?
Because you know the charcoal, when they finish,
Yeah,
it has to put in the car
that's true.
and transport it
Across the place.
I see them and they are almost always.
And that charcoal dealer, transport fares are always going up.
Yes.
Yes.
And that charcoal dealer also has needs.
Yeah.
And if the transport fares are going up, he also needs money to go and take care of his needs at home.
Essentially, we are just a very terrible
so
state.
how is Ghana still surviving?
Because you see what you do, all you do.
You know my answer.
When you wake up in the morning, what do you tell the family? You can't tell a family that they can't feed you because of this. You just concentrate on one thing, making sure you struggle with the little you have.
Yes.
And
But
fathers
you're
are
making
forgoing
up-
other things. Yeah,
Ghana is so together because of the resilience of the Ghanaian people.
that's true.
And today,
Ordinary Ghanaian man on the street is the reason why Ghana is still together. Because all the indications say that where we are right now, there should be more than just complaint on radio
That's true.
and social media.
and today the reality is that the ordinary Ghanaian with a little savings is taking it to ensure. I agree with that. It's the resilience it's to ensure that he can survive.
So-
because salaries will not go up.
Yeah.
The businesses are struggling.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
So my question is, why can't the executive government learn from this? From
How we are surviving.
From how the ordinary man
because
is
they don't
doing
feel
it.
it.
Because Evans, if you don't have money, what do? You actually ration your money
Everybody's
properly. Yes,
cutting.
everybody's
I mean,
cutting
you see me,
something.
I'm driving my bit.
Yes, you'll be so convinced that you need to
Proudly.
consider the alternatives on the table. I know people who say that, okay, let me see, this journey I'm going, can I go by other alternative transportation? Should I necessarily use that? In Germany, when they wanted to respond, what was their response? Try with transportation, give a flat rate for train travels, €9 the whole week. You think about it. What are we doing directly that impact the most important contributors to our inflation? This question we have asked, this is not magic. Stop telling us things that you do in the future. It is immediate, it is now.
But it's shocking. I
Guys.
mean, but anyway, well, that's what we are.
time is up.
Let's read a few of your messages. Salifu, is MPP's bunch of greedy people looking confused at this critical moment? Kofi says it's unwise for the deputy minister to make such a ridiculous statement. Little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Put together all the ministers and their deputies who all cost together. Start work and let's see the total. He said, good afternoon to your listeners from Kojo Asempa. That's Kojo Asempa, who joins us with his thoughts there. Any more, guys?
I think Adam and Lukafu says, where's the economic wizard? Well, I am sure that all of us do know what's happening in the country now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, I salute all Ghanaians. I mean, and
You have really tried.
all of us really respect, the way you are managing in these difficult times. And I just hope that the executive government, the government will feel your pain, really, and just follow your lead. Because you are the reason why this country is still completely intact. And you deserve a massive applause for that. Because I know it's difficult. I mean, it's tough. I mean, everywhere you go, those who have small, everybody's having to share. I mean, and that's the Ghanaian spirit.
Charlie, look.
Everybody's having to share. I think all of you had that experience. Now, everybody is coming to you to say, Charlie,
Yes. Can you help out with this?
Look,
With very legitimate claims, so
I'm not gonna
sometimes
mention names.
the only reason why you don't have money.
Very legitimate
Look,
claim.
I'll tell you something. Someone got in touch with me and said, Charlie, I am cooking and my gas is finished.
Wow.
Send me money. And I said, let me send you the money. He says, no. I'm sending you my wife's number. Send the money to her directly.
Wow.
That's how bad it was.
Because you can see the kind of pressure that will be on anybody within that period. You think about it. You're having pressure from home. Your wife is cooking, she can't continue. The food may get spoiled. That's another wastage that you don't want to manage. It might be your last bag of rice and you don't want to waste it. The kids have to eat. School fees is compounded. This is the month of September we're talking about here. All the other things, then this thing is going up. Then every day, how can the guy be in the right frame of mind to work? You just are asking the guy to try and find alternative means of stealing and filling the gap.
Okay, talking about school fees, you know my son's fees are paid quarterly. So on the 1st of October, I also have to pay school fees.
You also have to pay. You're paying for your son.
Exactly. That's another problem.
Yeah, well,
challenge.
You decided to go to school. That's your problem. That's a rich man's problem. Leave us alone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.